The following podcast is a collection of creatives posing interesting perspectives and opinions on branding, marketing, business, and everything in between. The views expressed on this podcast do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of its guests, hosts, or production team. The names, circumstances, and situations discussed are about 98% fictitious, with the primary intent to protect the guilty. Well, this podcast is designed to educate, inform, enlighten, and if you're entertained in the process, we did our job.
Too often we hear about the money, we hear about the cars, the lifestyle, the lavish trips when it comes to being an entrepreneur. Well, on this episode of Make It a Brand, we're going to talk about the dark side of entrepreneurship.
It's darkness, everybody.
Darkness. Cool. All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world today. I want to welcome you and thank you for tuning in to the Make It a Brand podcast. I am Jarvis Releford.
And I am Kris Kinder.
Listen, we got an episode today.
We do.
It's heavy.
It is.
It's heavy.
But it's necessary.
It's very necessary because nobody talks about it.
Nobody.
But before we get into all of that, what you got going?
Look, just working. Just working.
Okay.
I have clients that I'm working with now. So I am bound to secrecy, NDAs.
Okay.
But
okay. That's real work.
Yeah, and I just took on another client. So far on the roster, I have an actress, a musician, and a writer.
Nice.
All within the realm of entertainment.
Nice.
Placement, film. And so what I do appreciate right now is being able to streamline my life and my business.
Nice.
Right? We had a conversation before about people being good at everything and doing all of these things. Be good at one thing, perfect that lane. And so now everything that I do is in the vein of that. And it works. It all flows together. So I'm super excited about that.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you. I appreciate
It's like watching you grow. Like before, and I'm talking like I'm a dad or something.
No, I just got dad vibes. I was just going to say yes, sir.
Yeah, it feels daddish. But I'm talking about from the day I met you, you've always been poised. You've always been professional. You've always operated and strived for excellence, right? And so just watching that grow to what you're doing now.
I appreciate it.
You were doing, I think I met you on a red carpet event.
Yep.
And just, are you doing red carpet events now? You got a whole agency now. You're in movies and, you know what I'm saying?
That's wild.
That's wild. And we're talking 4 years.
That's it.
4 years. We're talking 48 months. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're talking 48 months. And the trend, it's been amazing to watch.
You know what it has been? I think overall it just came with a decision to do it and keep doing it. And it helps to be around amazing people.
True.
My circle changed. Everything around me, my influence in my life changed. So that helped a lot. It has to.
It had to.
Yeah.
It had to.
I'm sitting right beside you. I met you on the red carpet that day. And so even from meeting you, and that's a testament, because from meeting you, everything expanded from that. So your circle, your interactions, every conversation you have will lead you to something. And if you're not having intentional conversations, you're wasting your time.
Facts.
Period.
That's facts.
So, so what's going on with you?
Nothing. Working. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm really working on watching my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, working right now, I got the accelerators. We're going to Cancun.
Nice.
Next week, we'll be in Cancun. I am speaking at a creative symposium I'm doing a workshop on crafting your brand identity at Baylor University.
Nice.
Doing that. We'll be in Waco, Texas next week. Well, by the time this airs, I would have gone and came back.
So we're going to hear about it on the next episode.
Right, you'll hear about it on the next one. Super excited. Shout out to Sophia Strother. Super dope individual. Super dope. Invited us out to come and do that. Got that. I got a really big special announcement, but we're gonna wait. We're gonna hold off on it.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold off on it,
Ooh,
but it's chilling.
I'm
It's
excited.
stepping out on faith.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So I'm just excited. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited. We back in the saddle with this. Um, needed to regroup, recalibrate.
Yeah.
So
2.0.
2.0. It's
Yeah.
work. It's work. We just working and just trying to be the best. Not trying. We're being the best that we can be.
Mm-hmm.
While we can do it. While we're here.
Why not?
Why not? So,
So
this
we got
episode.
this.
This episode is heavy. I think it's already like you
We
turn the
kinda
lights
setting the
off.
tone.
Yeah, you turn the lights off here. We hear so often about, oh, I make 6 figures. Oh, I make 7 figures. Oh, I make 8 figures. Oh, I drive this car. Oh, I got this. Oh, I got that. Oh, we doing this. So anytime you get on social media,
Correct.
anytime you get on social media, I think it could be to somebody who's not mentally strong,
Mm-hmm.
to somebody who's not emotionally intelligent. It could be depressing.
Yeah.
Seeing all the success stories day after day after day after day, and when your world isn't moving in the direction that you want your world to move in, it's kind of tough to connect to those types of people, right?
For sure.
And so this episode, we're talking about the dark side of entrepreneurship, and we're talking about the emotional darkness, the mental darkness, the physical darkness, the financial darkness, the relational darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we don't talk about it.
We don't talk
We don't
about
talk
it.
about it enough.
Correct.
So let's explore like your journey. You said something earlier. You was like, my circle had to shift,
Mm-hmm.
and we both agreed that it had to.
Yeah.
Talk
Absolutely.
to me about that shift for you. Let's talk about that shift and why it had to occur.
And so the thing is, we don't know what we don't know.
Right.
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 And so I knew that. So let me say this: the first entrepreneur I ever met in my life was my mom.
Mm-hmm.
She opened up a daycare center in our hometown, and she left work to do that. It was very successful. She did a great job, right? But then my mom got sick. We're at a daycare. She had a stroke at the daycare. I had to get my mind right, run it for her while my dad rushed her off to the hospital. And I don't run a daycare. This is not my expertise. I love kids, but she had a system. I helped her with her daycare, but I didn't know that I didn't know.
Right.
So once I was in that situation, I'm like, oh my goodness, how do I do this?
Right.
And I just remember her after she got sick, shutting down her business, and that having a big impact on me, because it goes into the space of, well, what could have saved the business? She didn't know, right? Now I know, okay, you have to learn how to duplicate yourself. You have to learn how to partner, hire. Then there's strategies of hire. But I didn't know that then. She didn't know that then. You don't know what you don't know until, you're faced with situations. So for me, when I decided to be an entrepreneur, it was, okay, I need to get around people, because that was a trigger for me.
Right.
That's PTSD. I don't ever want to start it, and now I have to quit because, well, I don't know anything about business on that level. I need mentors. I prayed. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I put, like I told you, I said it's on another episode. Had a moment where I wrote all of my gifts on a sheet of paper, put them before me, prayed, and said, Lord, what would you have me do with the gifts that you've given me? I didn't have to. This is what you gave me because I'm good at this naturally. Never been to a class. I know this has got to be supernatural. And so what God started to do is kind of align me with the right people. I.e., when I did that red carpet, like I told you, I was filling in for somebody else. That was last minute. I met you that day.
Wow.
So here is my intention, shaking hands with you. I know what I want to do. I know what I need. Now here's this conversation that is very intentional. And I think when your mindset changes, it's not conscious, it's a decision. I made a decision that this is what I want to do. And naturally my world just began to reflect my mindset. And it was weird because you could have shaken my hand and had that same conversation with me without me having that mindset, and I would have missed that opportunity. But for me, I was like, okay, this is somebody I need to know. So it just naturally began to shift. And then when I met you, I met some other people, all of my connections changed.
Right.
I want to be around these people. These people have or going or in the same direction of the things that I want.
Right.
It shifted. So when I would find myself around other people talking about things that didn't matter, it just didn't grab me anymore. I was not interested anymore. And it wasn't shade.
Absolutely. It's different.
Yeah,
It don't
and you
interest
got to own it. Like, oh, you changing. Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
You acting brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am, but not with a negative connotation, not a negative mindset. You have to.
Right. It's necessary.
It's necessary.
It's necessary. You
Absolutely.
can't hold on to those things. I'm not gonna say it's beneath you, but some of the talk gossip is beneath you. And I think that was one of the things that I have my friends, I have my guys, my boys, but we don't talk like we used to. We're in different places of our lives. We're in different places of our journey. And we talk, we talk all the time. And I say, I've talked to Mike, I talked to Kris about it, and I'm like, where would we be if we took 2 years off of chasing women, and if we took 2 years away from chasing women, or if we just took two years off, devoted ourselves to our businesses, devoted ourselves to God, what would that look like for our lives? And we all said it would be supernatural. It would be crazy if we did that. If we successfully did that, it would be crazy. But there's friendships that fall off. There's relationships, men, women, friends. Like, my phone just ringing. Damn. It's just ringing. There's just we gotta do it. It's necessary.
You have to do it. But then so when we talk about the dark side of that, because naturally for the person in the transition, there's no dark side. That's light. It's like, okay, I'm walking into the light, Caroline. I'm walking. But those people who are attached to you, then they have these conversations. They feel away. You got to deal with that and know how. For me, if you cared about them, right? Because here's the thing. I'm not going to pretend like I wasn't once in this space with you. We shared this space. Right. And so for me to be accountable for I'm huge on relational equity. I know. Right? Because they may not be in this space with me, but there is something that connected us at some point. You never know when you have to call on somebody again. True. I'm just, being honest. So, and if you're alive, if you're breathing, you are the reflection of God. There is something great in you. So let me just cherish that relationship. That's not always the case.
All right.
Right? And I've had to have conversations. What's going on? I had to break off romantic relationships because I'm shifting. You don't want me to shift.
That's real.
That's a real thing.
That's real.
So my challenge came with that because I naturally became disgusted by the things that hindered me. Not necessarily. And sometimes it's people.
The people that hindered you.
It is those commonalities. Yes. And at one point you were in that Evans flow of dysfunction. It worked. But now that I'm shifting and I'm kind of pushing this toxicity out of me, you become a reflection of the things that I now reject.
Right.
That's a conversation. It is not pretty.
Nah, it ain't. It ain't. It's, in terms of relationships, man, I've lost romantically. We don't. Because you off work don't mean I'm off work. Because it's that Christmas part. For you. It ain't Christmas. It's a work day for me.
Yeah.
People still want, hey, they got great, grand ideas. Can we shoot with Santa Claus today at your place? We got, it's just, and I dated a girl. I can call her name. Shout out to Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
I dated a girl, and she was like, you can't bring your laptop to my house.
Whoa.
But who? I take my laptop everywhere. You can't bring your laptop to my house. And I was like, couldn't bring my laptop. First, it was, you can't bring it in the bedroom.
Okay.
And then it was like, okay, because she had to sleep in complete darkness for some weird reason.
Okay.
I don't know what that's about. But she had to sleep in complete, Kelly was a piece of work. But yeah, so it's a real thing. But I had to let that go. I gotta work. It's Christmas Eve. She wrapping gifts. I'm creating logos. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so but I had to let that go. And they don't understand it. But it's just, that's the dark side of it. You lose love. You lose sleep. You lose friends. I don't think I cared, though.
And
I don't think I cared. I think it bothered me at the time. But like, you're not on what I'm on. All right, cool.
And it's a perspective too, though, right? You talked about cleaning up your language earlier.
Right.
When you say things like, I lost this or I lost that. No, I sacrificed this to invest. This is an investment. Every sacrifice is an investment. If I go to purchase a home, that down payment is an investment.
True.
Now, if I say, oh, I lost my money buying this house, you're not going to say that.
That's not true.
Right.
True.
So the sacrifice that you make, that's why you were able to do it so easily, because you didn't see it as a loss.
Right. It was a necessary.
Absolutely.
It was a necessary.
Absolutely.
Do I stay here in love, working at the bank, broke, check to check, driving a car. I was driving a GMC Envoy. It was towed up. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to GMC.
It was towed up. But I'm saying, like, do I keep these things or do I want more? Do I strive? Because the reality of it is you can't get it at a job. You know what I'm saying? I can't live the lifestyle I want to live working at. I couldn't have did it working at the bank. Hell, they didn't want to pay me. So nah. I didn't care. You can't bring your laptop. If I can't bring my laptop, I ain't going nowhere. I can't take my laptop. All right. Peace.
Well, I mean, when you say wrapping Christmas gifts and you making logos,
I'm on the floor.
The picture in my mind.
I'm on the floor. Like, I'm on the floor creating an Illustrator, creating logos.
But eventually, we do all of this investment. We do all of these investments, and we make all of these sacrifices so that one day we can sit down and wrap Christmas gifts on Christmas.
True.
So that we can spend more time. We go into this business and this mindset with the idea that we are walking into freedom.
True.
Right? So at some point, when does that happen?
What do you mean?
In the beginning stages, I get it, right? But if you're always working, say business is doing great, and you're still always working, those are habits at that point.
True.
That's not because you got to do it.
True.
And so for the sake of that, because I have to be optimistic, we call that extreme optimism. There has to be a place, even for entrepreneurs, that we pause.
True. A healthy pause. True.
A healthy pause, but even then, you know how that goes. You be like, oh, I'm missing out on something.
True.
Oh, something is
I
happening.
get the itch.
It's that itch. What is that? It's like,
I be at the dinner table like, we've been here too long. Like,
Yeah.
I got shit to do. I got things to do.
Yeah.
I get the itch, so I know exactly what you mean. And I'm gonna be honest. We talked about it on the last episode, man. I feel like I was late to the party, and because I'm late to the party, I'm gonna stay here and dance a little bit longer.
I got you.
I'm gonna stay here and I'm gonna have another drink. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna meet a few more people while I'm here before I go home, and that's just because I feel like I was late. I feel like I didn't really get my feet wet into this thing to maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Is that one of them things like if I knew what I knew then, what I know now,
Right.
then cool. I would have been good if I knew, but I didn't. So you know what you know when you know it. I'm here. I'm working. I'm locked in.
Do you find yourself? I was talking to a friend of mine, and she said, I notice when you have conversation, it's always leading to something in business or anything. Do you find yourself having lots of business conversations? And how do you separate that from personal relationships? Like, at what point do you establish or put the same type of energy into your personal relationships versus business? Because for me, I find that very hard to do.
It is hard, and you don't have to do it. You don't. It's almost like dumbing yourself down to have those types of conversations, right? Like, business is my love language. I don't care about words of affirmation. I don't care about gifts, access. I don't care about business. Is my love
I
language.
feel you.
We talking business. How we gonna make more money? How we gonna grow? How we gonna create more impact? How we gonna do these? That's my love language. So when I'm not
Facts.
talking those things, I'm like.
And if you're not talking those things, I'm turned off. It's weird.
what are we here
It's so weird.
What are we
What
here
are
for?
we what are we doing?
Yeah, what are we here for?
I feel you.
Yeah. So how about you?
I mean, so I have a love for ministry as well as business, right? And so two types of relationships and two types of conversations that I have will often be my love of Christ and my love of business and the way the world works. Combine those two and I'll be there for hours.
talk all day.
We can talk all day.
Same.
We can hang out.
Same.
We can go do I promise you and I will know if you really mean it or not because we'll match that level of passion and something will be birthed out of that conversation.
Always.
Always. And
Always.
so, for me, anything that shows life will grow.
Mm,
Right? That
true.
is the definition of a living organism. It
Growth.
grows.
True.
Growth. I'm not gonna get into what I was gonna say, but conversations are the same. Relationships are the same. So if we can't grow to something, it's gonna grow to something.
Right.
But if we can't grow to something that gears to changing the world and world impact, or I just like big conversations and
Right.
big mindsets.
Right.
If I can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the same. I'm the exact same way. It's if it ain't fruitful.
So you talked about fruitfulness and you talked about the downside and you talked about that dark period of loss. Real loss in
Mm-hmm.
business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not the investment stage, none of that. I'm talking about when you go through that drought.
Mm-hmm.
You were sharing a story offline. I really, can you share that?
Okay. About
When you're going through those lows, man.
so a lot of people see entrepreneurship and they're like, man, that looks cool. Man, that got she travels, he does this, they go do what they want to do when they want to do it. And it looks appealing. And I think, I'm gonna be honest, I think that's why a lot of people get into entrepreneurship, for the perks of it, for what they believe is, they believe this is entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
And what they don't see is, we could keep it a buck. I
Mhm.
mean, in my business model, there's multiple streams of income, right?
Mhm.
But my primary source of income a few months back, dry,
Mm.
nothing. For the entire month, we're talking 31 days, nothing,
Wow.
right? So here you are, the average person, we're talking 14, 15 days of not getting paid. They're starting to think, I need to go get a job.
Mm.
The average person that is with a average person, meaning they're in a relationship with, they're saying, they looking at you like, yeah, it's time for you to start putting in some applications.
Correct.
Me, it's different up here. And it goes back to what you just said. There is an intertwining of this business thing, and then there's an intertwining of my faith.
Mm.
And he's never left me hanging. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's never left me hanging. And because he's never left me hanging, why would I worry? Why would I concerned? Hey, God. Hey, bro. You know what I'm saying? Hey, bro. You know what I mean? But why worry when? Now, I will say this about God, and Christians, you super Christians get mad. I don't care. But I believe that God, Jesus, is African American. Late.
Oh, wow.
Late. Super late.
Oh, God.
Super late. Bro comes when he wants to. But
I like my dad.
yeah,
I like my father.
I love my dad. Well, he comes when he wants to. But he comes. And he wipes it out. He when he show up, he show out. You know what I'm saying? So,
Facts.
and in my life, I've just seen it happen too many times, where I go that month, don't get nothing. This July, August, one of them, dry the whole month. 2 days left in the month, 3 clients, everything paid.
Wow.
Had I panicked, had I fretted, no, you can't do that. You got to be tough up here. You got to be tough up here. Right now, I'm in a storm. Right now, and I'm gonna talk about it when we come out of it, because that's just what it is. But when I come out, you won't smell the rain on my clothes, like, because I'm down. I'm faithful. I'm in, and I know he's gonna show up. This is something that we have to go through. This is something that he has to show us as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as people. I got you, but I need you to know that I got you. You know what I'm saying? You got to know that you know that you know that you know.
Right.
He needs to know that you know that you know that you know that he's gonna show up for you, and that's it.
So, and I love what you said about he may not, what the old people say, he may not come when you want him, but he's right on time.
Yeah.
entrepreneurship is the test of your faith.
It is.
It just like you said, it is impossible to do this walk, really have joy without faith.
It's a language.
It is a
It's a
language.
language. It's a language. It's a language. And if you can't speak it,
That's why you can't start talking about your problems either, because the average person is going to tell you,
right,
get a job.
right. You can't talk about your problems or your plans. You can't talk about your problems or
Come
your
on.
plans with somebody that doesn't speak the language of faith.
That's facts.
Or they're
That's
going to
good.
deter. Hey, you think that's a good idea? How much that's gonna cost again? Funny story. Shout out to Aziza Jabari. When I met Aziza might have been like 18. I might have been like 30. You know what I'm saying? And Aziza was a hairstylist. And Aziza was 18 years old. These lofty dreams. Oh, I'm finna get a Benz once this, da-da-da-da-da. And I had been in business for a few years, and I'm like, girl, it don't happen like that. She was full-time entrepreneur at 18, 19 years old. I still was at the bank at this time. So I'm saying to her, like, my perspective is more balanced. Like, hey, I don't know if that's the move, girl. You just doing braids, like, you know. And she adamant, strong, and I was like, this girl crazy. I remember saying to myself, this girl crazy. I've been in business for 5 years, 6 years, and she just got in, just graduated high school. She told me she finna get a Benz. She finna do all this. She finna do all that. And I BS you not. Got an Audi, got a,
Wow.
you know what I'm saying? Like, her business took off, and it was because she believed. And a lot of the times, and so when I used to hear her talk, and I'd be like, shit sounds crazy. And so now I look at I see the old me in some of the people that I talk to now. And I'm speaking I see Aziza in me, like, dang, like, oh, bro, you sure you want to do that? You might want to get a car that's more sensible. You might want to da-da-da-da-da. You might want to, and I'm like, That ain't what's for me.
Right.
And what's for me is whatever I say is for me.
Say that again.
Whatever is for me is whatever I say is for me. Whatever I believe is for me. Whatever I do, whatever I walk in, that is what's for me. That's what a lot of people, that faith thing, you got to buy and subscribe to that first. You know what I'm saying? You got to buy and subscribe to that first, and everything else will fall into place.
Oh, that's deep. That's good. That's really good.
And faith ain't just waiting for God. You still got to walk.
Right.
You still got to run. You still got to do the heavy lifting. He gonna carry you over the finish line when you're tired and you're weary, and it doesn't look promising. He just helps you get over that finish line. It's so dope what he does.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's so dope what he does.
As a man thinketh, so is he.
Yep.
That's dope.
Yep.
I feel like I need to pass the offering plate, and you got to cash out, because I think we need that. No, seriously, those are gems.
Yeah.
Like, because it does get hard, Jarvis.
Yeah.
It gets hard to not believe what you see. Sometimes it's
Absolutely.
hard to not believe that you don't have no money in your account, and that it's coming, and that if you keep moving and keep believing, it will happen. That is challenging when you're used to being led in the flesh and not the spirit.
Right.
When everything that you've done up until this point has been based on your own efforts or things that you can control, things that you can manipulate and bring together, that hustle mentality that we've had to make it happen, you know what I mean? And now you're telling me I'm pushed against the wall, God has stripped everything, and I have to believe that he's there, and I have nothing. That's
it don't
challenging.
make sense. And none of it makes sense.
None of it.
1 + 1 = 8 when it comes to God. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. 1 + 1 = 8 when it comes to faith. It doesn't make sense. And asking somebody who operates in the natural to it doesn't make sense to them.
Faith in business. That's huge.
Okay. Shout out to Tone. Tone stepped into the group chat.
I got a question.
Talk to me.
So I
Talk Talk to me.
So I call that stage, right, when you first leave your job to do entrepreneurship. I call that the crackhead stage,
Very much so.
right? Because you're still trying to shake off getting a check every 2 weeks. So what do y'all tell the people who just now starting out full-time entrepreneurship, who's in that crackhead stage, who, 15 days here, they still haven't received anything. So what would y'all tell that person who's in business?
Kris, I'm gonna let you go first.
First of all,
Great question.
great question,
Great
Tone.
question.
Thank you
Look,
so
Tone
much.
came out of control room.
Literally, because first and foremost, the first thing, like you said, is your mindset, and I feel like they have it. The crackhead stage, you just trying to get it, you're trying to make it work. However, be careful who you talk to in this stage. Be careful what you listen to. Be careful what you surround yourself with. These are the essentials that influences your mind, your heart, your vision, everything you do. Everything from what you do is going to come from your heart. So ultimately, it influences your heart. So you have to be very strategic in this crackhead. It's like going to rehab, right? As a crackhead, if you're going to call it the crackhead stage, what they do at rehab is they take them out of the environment that they're used to. Rehab forces treatment that influences just rehabilitation. So in this stage, engulf yourself in the culture that you hope to become. Stay there. And honestly, I am a person of faith. When you're in this stage, the prayer is, Lord, I am walking into a space that I'm unfamiliar with. Lead me. Give me wisdom, knowledge, understanding. And then, like you said, you have to walk in that faith. So ask, seek, knock. If you ask, you'll receive. If you seek, you'll find. If you knock, the doors will be open. And keep that in your forefront. Keep going. And this is the cycle of business. This is the cycle of life. As soon as you run into that wall, ask, seek, knock. As soon as you hit that other wall, ask, seek, knock. It will be the cycle that'll keep you in this faith and business journey. That's what I would say.
I love it. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. And my answer would be similar. And we have to put some parameters on this a little bit, because there's some people that are quitting their job for entrepreneurial endeavors that haven't been tested, that aren't tried, that aren't true.
This is true.
These are things that you probably shouldn't quit your job to do.
This is facts.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think it really depends on what you're doing. And when you're going through that crackhead stage and you getting them itches, like, man, it's the 15th. I'm used to getting paid on the 15th, man. I don't know what we're gonna do. It just, is your business model tried and true? Have you tested this thing? And people ask all the time, like, how do you know when it's time to quit? And I'm not the person to ask that, because I didn't know. I didn't have nothing saved. I didn't have. I mean, I had a little money in the bank, but I didn't have nothing saved, like rainy day saved. I tell people that you need to be making 3 times what you're making at your job consistently for 3 to 6 months. That means your business model is tried and is true.
Yeah.
If you can duplicate the sale, you might have 1 month and you killed it. Month 2, you might be dealing with some residual from the first month.
Right.
Month 3, if you're still tripling what you're making, you might be on to something. Month 4, you're just perfecting the process.
Correct.
Month 5, we're good as gold. 6, if you can do it for 6 months, I say 3 to 6 months consistently, that means you can sustain yourself in business for at least half a year, right? If you can do that, then you should be quitting your job, and you won't see that crackhead stick. You won't even see it, because you already know how to do it. When I had the job, the biggest thing that I did, if I give this bank 8 hours of my day, I'm going to give my business 8 hours of my day.
That's good.
So I'm putting in the same amount of time, the same amount of work. And I cheated some days when I was at the bank on my 8 hours. I was still working on my other stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I just think to avoid the crack, you can avoid it at all costs by just making sure that what you do is tried and true. You're
That's
able
dope.
to, you can make the money that you want to make. I've never missed a meal. I've never missed a bill since being an entrepreneur. A
Really?
full-time entrepreneur. Yeah, my lights was off when I had a job.
Wow.
My lights got cut off a time or two. And my phone bill, and stuff like that. But I could pay it. It's there. You know what I'm saying? It's there. And like when it comes to my faith, it's there. It's always
there.
gonna be there.
That's pretty dope.
So yeah, you can avoid the crackhead stage by choosing and selecting and operating in a space that is proven. The social proof is there. The business proof is there. It's a proven business model.
Yeah.
A lot of people start businesses that nobody needs. That's the dark side.
That is the dark
and
side.
nobody wants to tell anybody this. It's almost like that rapper. You're like, bro, get a job.
Yeah.
Bro, same thing with entrepreneurship, bro. Do something else. Find
Yeah.
something else to do.
I can't say it. I'm not even going to say
Find
it
something else
because
to do. it'll
offend people. But I get it.
Find something else to do.
Find something else
I mean,
to do.
I'd rather offend you now than you be asking me for money in 6 months. I'd rather tell you that ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. And so people are, well, Jarvis, how do you know what works and what doesn't work? And the rule of thumb for me is if people need it, if there's a need for it, not a want. If there's a need for it, you can win.
Yeah.
But if you're just doing stuff that people want,
They'll only come to you when they want it.
when they want it, and I'm looking for the best price on it.
Correct.
I look at the business lines that I had. Speed dating. Do people need speed dating?
They got social media.
I looked at the home decor line. Do people need to come to me and buy wall art? No. I looked at the only thing that I had going, music. Do people need a writer? Like, no, it's so, they didn't need it. Did they want it? Yeah, I might want something from them. The only thing that people needed was branding for their business.
Yep.
That's the only thing that I had that people needed, and I needed to perfect that process. And
So ultimately, you want to go into the business of a need.
a need. Nobody negotiates when they are in pain. What I mean by that is,
That's good.
if I have the illustration is if I have a stomach ache and I'd had this stomach ache for 6 months, just won't go away every day. I'm boo-booing, going crazy, throwing up because I got this stomach issue. I go to Dr. One. Dr. One says, hey man, I got just what you need. I know exactly what this is. I got a pill for you. The pill is going to be $10. But the only thing about it, it only has a 10% effective rate. It's a 90% chance it won't work. But it's $10, shot in the dark, you might be able to get it off, right? So you say, oh, doc, I'll go get a second opinion. So you go to another doctor. Doc say, hey, man, I know exactly what this is. You got this stomach issue, I got a pill for you. The only thing about it is just 50%. By this time, another month and a half, 2 months done passed by. You go to another doctor. Doc say, I know exactly. And he tell you that pill, the second pill was $50, but it only had a 50% efficacy rate. So go to the third doctor. Third doctor say, I know exactly what you got going on. It's this. It comes from eating this. You got to cut this out of your diet. You got to do this. You got to do this. And you have to take this pill. But this pill is $1,000. By this time, you've been pooping on yourself. You're throwing up every night. You can't sleep. Your life is miserable. You got a doctor that got a 10% efficacy rate. You got a doctor with a 50% efficacy rate. And you got a doctor that said 100% this pill is going to work for you. But it's $1,000.
$1,000. I'm paying $1,000.
Nobody negotiates when they're in pain. Nobody negotiates when they're in pain. So understanding that doctor had something that he needed. My brand struggling, my business struggling. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't attract the clientele that I want. I got just what you need.
Absolutely. So what you were saying that they need mentorship.
They need mentorship. They need it's mentality though. Everybody ain't built for this.
No.
Everybody ain't built for this.
And it's okay that you're not built for it.
It's okay.
There's like this aura of superiority when it comes to entrepreneurship, right? But I think ultimately to be able to provide for your family, to be able to have a life that you desire, regardless if it's a job or not,
Right.
but to be able to have what we consider the American dream, or the life of happiness or a life of joy, if you can do that in any capacity, I'm not saying rob and steal people and no, don't do that. But if you could do that in any capacity with earning an income, then that's what it's about. Entrepreneurship is just a different type of beast. So we're not here to bash anyone that has a job.
No,
We're
not at all.
just saying it's just this is different. And so for the entrepreneurs, we like to shape and cultivate these conversations to us because we're a community, and especially to Black entrepreneurs, right? I think we should have a conversation about that, us doing business with each other.
Yeah, I think that's the next episode.
Yeah, let's do that. Perfect. But then there's that, right? There's a different dynamic when it comes to professionalism and all of those subjects. But to be able to do effective business takes a mindset.
That's it.
That's it. And you know what? You said something before we started. Can you do the quote today? Can you take us out?
What quote? Oh,
Any type of encouragement? Yes, like
I
you've
thought
been.
you just gave it.
No, that wasn't. No. No, that's
thought you
this
just
is
gave
this is all. Yeah, I feel like in my spirit, I feel like you got something to say.
The game is yours. The game is yours. It's yours to win. It's yours to lose. The winning starts with what you say, and what you say is a reflection of what you think. So I believe we have to manage our thoughts. You begin to manage your thoughts. You begin to manage your mouth. You begin to manage your actions. You begin to manage your feelings. You got to check your feelings at the door in entrepreneurship. But that's the key to weathering any storm. Your posture is everything. You can't win with poor posture. You can't survive. You can't play. You can't walk with poor posture. You can't sleep with poor posture. You can't do anything. So why do you think you can live with poor posture? So manage your posture. Manage your posture. Like I said, everybody's either in a storm, going through one, or just coming out of one. You got to manage your posture at all times in that storm. Kris really caught me off guard with that, but
That's exactly what we needed.
That's
absolutely,
what we had.
absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. I think this is the Making a Brand podcast.